What's up, Infected, and welcome to the Quarantine. This is Kickstart Your Week, so if you're not familiar with what that is, this is my weekly segment that I put out that covers the previous week's Kickstarters that I thought looked interesting. Now, there's no hard and fast rules by what makes the list and what doesn't. Really, the only hard fast rule, I guess, would be that I don't cover more than 10. I may cover less, but I will not cover more than 10 due to, so many hours in the day, so many Kickstarters every week. It's just not feasible for me to cover each and every one of them. Other than that, it's really, did the thumbnail catch my eye? What's the theme? I kind of glance over the page, maybe watch the video, and then I just kind of make my decision based on that. And if you like this video, I do have will have a link down in the description that'll take you over to the Gamerati. Now, they're the only board game centric curators on Kickstarter, which is pretty cool. So for the most part, almost every week now, I've been part of a podcast with them. They're really cool guys. We just sit there and BS about board games, basically, and new Kickstarters that came out that we're interested in. For the most part, they do every week or every other week. They're a bunch of really cool guys. Definitely head over there and check them out as well. It's a lot of good fun. Alright, so to kick this off, the first game up on my list here is the Smog Riders. Now, the Smog Riders, honestly, at very first glance, reminds me of the Arcadia Quest games. They have the chibi kind of minis, which I'm a big fan of. And it's got a kind of a one versus all style gameplay as well, where one person is like the defender of some Steam technology, and then the other people are everybody else is trying to come in and invade and take it back over. It's got a modular board design. They're just, these tiles that you put down. They're double-sided. All of the components look really nice, but honestly, the selling point for this has got to be the really, really nice artwork and the lots of really chibi Arcadia Quest style minis. They all look really, really, really nice, and, money permitting, I may back this for the minis alone. Now, next up is Near and Far Amber Mines. Now, I don't have a lot to say about this purely because I may get some flack for this, but I've never played Near and Far. It's one of the games that have kind of been on my backlog to eventually get, but some of the reviews and some of the things I have seen about it, I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not my groups are going to like it, so on and so forth. But, the artwork in the Near and Far games in general are really pretty, especially the Amber Mines, because now you're in like caves with these giant crystalline structures, which are really, really cool. And the videos that are on it mainly cover the base game Near and Far. They don't really go too deep into what the new game does. Now, the main expansion, and it is an expansion, not a game, but the main video talks about the expansion, but where I don't know much about the actual game, a lot of it was kind of alien to me. But I guess you're digging into a mine, and it's like a standalone adventure that doesn't use like the book that Near and Far uses. I don't know, if you're into Near and Far, definitely check this one out. It looks like it's probably a must-have, or at least a needs-to-have, essentially. Alright, next on my list is Neon Knights. Now, Neon Knights is where civilization is split into two people. You have the rich and the poor, and the poor can do these like Twisted Metal style, like Twisted Metal meets Mario Kart style races where you have, gear up on weapons and all this equipment and shields, and you're doing a race, and after like 4, I think, from what I understand in the campaign, if you place first, then you get to become a Neon Knight, which you actually become a driver for the rich in the big part of the city. And that looks really, really cool, but where the selling point of this is A, the really neon, just really bright neon color palette that they chose, I personally adore. I love that. It reminds me of, Hotline Miami style, techno, just bright and everything. But where the real kicker is it's not just like, let's pull out the game and race. You actually have rounds before the week, all the days before the week of the race, that you're buying upgrades and you're doing things and you're kitting out your car, so you kind of get an idea of what everybody else is going for, and you're getting these upgrades and weapons and all this stuff. But then when you use them in a race, they're one and done. When you use that weapon, it's gone unless you can recharge it during the race. And then certain things you do throughout the race gain you more fans, which kind of, I guess, affect points at the end as well. Whoever's in last place doesn't get points, so you definitely don't want to be there. And just overall, it looks really, really neat. I'm a little hesitant on how short the racetracks seem to be, but I'm sure there's, you could tailor it to be longer or shorter races. And last on my list for this week is Time of Legends Joan of Arc. Now, if you know me, I'm a big sucker for minis and metal coins and sci-fi, and to a lesser extent, post-apocalyptic. Those four they're kind of my kryptonite. Now this has just mind-blowingly good minis. Now they're not Kingdom Death style minis, they're single mold minis, so you don't have to paint them. But what it is you have, it's a grid-based, minis-based scenario, like mission-based game, where you could play just an all-out war, like Warhammer style, or you can try to accomplish goals, like protect these people from here to here, or, go here, get this, bring it over here, stuff like that. But rather than, miniature wargaming where you have a table and your yardsticks and your measuring tapes and you're measuring things and your laser pointers for line of sight, stuff like that, it's all grid-based. It's all, you have hexes that go all over the table. But the cooler part is a lot of the terrain actually have plastic pieces for it. You have little stone walls, you have the what are they called? The little barricade things, the sharpened tree trunk sticking out. You have buildings, castle walls, just all that, trees, everything. It's all plastic in 3D and looks just insane. Maybe it's just me, I love minis, but it looks outstanding. So if you're a minis person like me, definitely give this one a look. So in the base box, you get 238 minis, and then you get an insane dragon if you choose, I think it's like an $80 or $90 add-on, which sounds insane, but when you take into account the, Kingdom Death that I have up here, the dragon, which is the biggest mini that's out, stands about this tall. It's a pretty hefty mini, you have to build it, it's gigantic. The dragon in this, the guy's holding it and it's like this big. And I don't know if it's a single model or if you do have to build that one, but the thing is gigantic, it's huge. I have no idea how that's going to be used into a game, but I don't care. It looks outstanding. And that's it for Kickstart Your Week this week. I only found 4 that really jumped out at me and that I was really interested in. I'm going to start doing a thing that I don't know if I'm going to stick with, but my Kickstarter for the week is Joan of Arc. That one looks by far the best one on this list. But like I said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna stick with that. Gonna kind of poke and prod and see how this works. Anyways, if you guys like that, let me know down in the description. But as always, if you enjoy this channel and you would like to support me as well, I have a Patreon up here and down in the description. If you are afraid of commitment and would still like to support the show, I have a tip jar down at the bottom. It's a one-time donation. Any little bit helps. If not, that's perfectly fine. You watching my videos and subscribing definitely helps. If you're new here, stick around. Subscribe button's right down there. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time in the quarantine.